Well, good evening, everybody. It is Cleta Colson-Eyre. It is September 29th, 2019, and I have missed seeing all of you, either seeing your name or either seeing your beautiful face for the last few weeks. And I know you miss the ocean in the background. I mean, that was my favorite boss bed call. As a matter of fact, I was thinking today I did not even post that actually on the YouTube site, but I will because you just need to see it. But anyway, I am back. I'm glad to get back going. And, you know, it is really strange when you are off for a little while. It takes a minute to get back going sometimes. So, but I missed everybody. I missed working. Not too much, but a little tiny bit. I thoroughly enjoy myself. You know what you have to do is sometimes, especially with Mary Kay vacations, when you've earned them, you have to be able to turn it off and just have some fun. It's quit sitting there feeling guilty about it. So all of us that won the Destination Red Cruise, we're just going to have a blast and we're not going to worry about it. You know, set some things up before you leave, set some things up for when you get back, and you won't even miss a beat. So anyway, today is the day before the last day of the month. And so I was sitting today thinking about what am I going to talk about tonight. There's so many things I want to talk about. But let me tell you what kind of came to me. And you can tell me if you have ever felt this way. Okay, so when have you ever felt like when you feel like you feel like you want to give up on your dream? When you feel like it is just too hard? When you feel like others win, but you don't. You see everybody else doing it, but you don't. When you start doubting your abilities to make your business successful. I know y'all thinking, this is depressing. Have you ever felt like that you're just in a rut or that you work all the time, but you have no results? Have you ever started thinking, what else could I do to make money besides Mary Kay? Because this isn't working. All right. And, you know, have you ever thought any of those thoughts? So if you were looking at me, just raise your hand if you've ever thought that. Okay. I know that all of your hands are raised because everybody thinks that way every now and then. And, you know, every day is not, you know, like we have these on Wednesdays. Sometimes we say it's Wednesday, W-I-N-S, Wednesday. Well, every day in Mary Kay is not a Wednesday. Sometimes it's just that let me make it through the day. And that is your only win, is that you actually got up, you got your makeup on, and somehow you made it through the day until you went to bed that night. And you know what? We're all going to have days like that. Some days are better than others, right? So I was just thinking that, you know, after this great trip, so funny, my mother, I talked to her, and I wish she hadn't said this, but anyway, do you know how like sometimes like after something big, then you have the letdown? And I think the older you get, maybe you have it more, you know, like for example, you work for Christmas, and then everybody comes over, and then when Christmas is over, you know, you all hopped up, you're working for Christmas, then it's all over, you kind of have that little downtime where you're like, you know, it's over. Like, I don't mean you're depressed chemically or anything, but you know, that little, like a letdown, you know, like after, you know, any kind of big event, and then you have the letdown. And she said, yep, you'll have to come down. You'll have that letdown, or some kind of something like that. And I'm like, I don't want to have a letdown. But it is true that sometimes, like after you get off these trips and you're like, I got to do laundry. My toilet, you know, at the Four Seasons, I would walk in the door and the toilet lid would open. Like the light would come on and the toilet lid would open. I would sit down and it's heated. When you got done, you can rinse yourself and you can blow dry yourself. And then you get up and the toilet flushes for you, the lid closes for you, and the lights turn off when you leave. I'm like, so I come home, I have a cold toilet seat, and nothing happens. I'm like, it's broke. and then I'm like, where's the maid? The bed is not made every time I walk out and come back in. It is not folded down. There are not two slippers by my little bed, so when I get out, my two little feet will get in it. There's not a button behind the bed that when I can open and all the blinds go up or all the blinds come down. There's not a little panel that says day, relax, sunset, or good night, where you just hit a button and it'll dim your lights for sunset, or relax is just, you know, like soft light, or just good night, all of them off, just a button behind your bed, So I came home, like my lights don't work, my toilet don't work, the maid did not show up, and I had like 17 loads of laundry. The cats, they were fed when I was gone, but I'm like, this whole place smells like cat poop out here. So like I'm like doing menial tasks and back to reality, right? So there's your letdown after your big trip. But the trip, for those of y'all don't know, I went to Hawaii. There's several islands in Hawaii. If you've never been to Hawaii, you might not know that. I sure didn't until I actually looked into it. But I went on a trip to Maui 5 years ago. And then this year, the first part was in one of the islands called Oahu, which is, y'all probably have heard of Waikiki Beach. It's really famous. Matter of fact, it's where Gilligan's Island, the show Gilligan's Island, for those of you old enough to remember, that was filmed. And Elvis Presley had movies out there. And Pearl Harbor is right there in Oahu. So all of that is in that island. And then the next week, for the first time in my Mary Kay history, we got to fly to a different island, and it's called Lanai. I thought it was called Lanai, but it's called Lanai is what it's called. And it is the most beautiful place. It was like paradise. I'm not kidding. And the Four Seasons is like the most pampering hotel I have ever stayed at, resort in my life. And we had 155 on the first trip when their husbands, and 39 went on to the second trip. And then the last 4 days of the trip, I went back to Oahu, and I had my first cousin and her husband fly over, who I never get to see, and we spent 3 or 4 days at a condo there on the Waikiki Beach. And so, if you ever want to talk about living the lives of the rich and famous, that's it. I mean, and the only way I could do it is because Mary Kay paid for most of it. It's not for me. I would have probably not spent my money on that, right? But when I think about that trip, the ocean, the fine dining. I mean, like our bill, when we would get the bill, which we didn't have to pay for. Like one night there was 8 of us, and the bill was, I think it was $1,200. And so, and that's no alcohol. I mean, that was just the food part of it. Okay. So that, I mean, like our breakfast every morning when we would sign off the ticket that Mary Kay paid for, it was $118 every morning at the Four Seasons. I mean, who spends money like that, right? In fact, there was a lady behind us, a guy behind us, and he was talking on the phone, and he was like, no, darling, I'll do Mariah's makeup next week. No. And he was talking in that British accent, how he was going to get with Mariah. I mean, it was hilarious. I'm like, oh my goodness, Becky. And so I'm looking at the other people around there, and I'm thinking, how can y'all afford this? Because like probably it would cost you, we figured it out, like $10,000 or $12,000 to stay there for a week. Easy. But anyway, when you think about all that and what Mary Kay has allowed me to do, the dining, the beauty of God's earth, the friends that you get to meet up with every year. Some of them you guys don't know because they're in a different seminar, and the only time I see them would maybe be leadership or the top director trip. And so my husbands have got to know their husbands, which is really fun. Brad was all about, getting the guys doing different things like that. When you realize how far, when I think about how far I've come since I became a sales director, when I was 26 years old, I had 33 unit members. We had to have 30, and I had 3 over that were inactive. And so 33 little unit members, and we were all in our 20s, except for like my mom and my aunts that, helped me finish. But a young unit, a very young unit, and a very young, inexperienced director to be able to go on that trip of a lifetime is just unbelievable. And so, I want y'all to know that, if I can do that, so can you. And the thing is, sometimes I think about, and I know you might think, well, what's different in you, Cleta, than me? Why can't, if you can do it, why can't I do it? Well, you can do it. And really one of the differences is that, I didn't quit when I wanted to sometimes. And there's times that I did not feel like doing things. And feelings as women can get you in trouble. I mean, they just really can. Do you know people, and this may be you may say that's me, and it's something you need to identify, but do you know people who they're either high as a kite, they're so excited, I can't wait to do this, I'm all in, woo! Or they're lower than a skunk, they're about to quit, they're so depressed, and nothing's happening. They're never in the middle. They're either high or they're down low. I think they call it bipolar, right? But anyway, this is bipolar Mary Kay, right? That's something that as women we have to work on, because you can't, when your emotions are like that, what happens is the littlest thing is going to drop you down. So you got to get to where no matter, that you're going to have some mountaintop experiences for sure in Mary Kay. But most of the time we're just like in the middle there, and I remember at my director debut 30 something years ago, almost 31 now, the director that spoke was an executive director, happened to be my aunt out from California. She flew down to be at my debut, and I remember this. It made an impact on me, obviously, because I'm thinking about it right now. But she said, in Mary Kay, there's ups and downs. She was doing a training class, and she said, when you start out in Mary Kay, they're like this, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And she said, now what happens then when you become a sales director, you still have them, but instead of going, ooh, 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 like this, they're like a little smaller bump right here. She said, and then as a national, they're just like a little speed bump. Like they're there, but you don't even hardly feel them. And I'll never forget that. I thought, okay, I just got to stay in long enough so these lows just feel like speed bumps, right? And so anyway, there was a quote this morning in church, and I thought, that's good. In fact, I grabbed my bulletin and wrote it down. And they said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And Albert Einstein is actually the one that said that. Life is like a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. And so, normally when we're feeling low or not motivated, it's usually because you have quit pedaling. Instead of normally if you're going up a hill and you're riding a bicycle, what do you have to do? You have to pedal harder. Sometimes you even have to stand to pedal. You ever had to do that? Have you ever rode a bicycle and you stand up to give you just a little bit more power to get up that hill? You can't coast up a hill. You can't coast up a hill. You have to pedal harder. But in Mary Kay, a lot of times, let's say we're riding a bicycle, we're working our Mary Kay business, and there's a hill, and instead of pushing harder, we drop back. And it's something that we have to fix, or we're never going to really get over the hump. Literally and figuratively, right? And so, his quote is that you got to keep moving. That is so true, right? You have to keep moving in your Mary Kay business. And, activity will almost fix anything. I've said this a number of times, but sometimes you have to force yourself to do things, even when you don't feel like doing it. And that is hard because, right when you come back from, let's say, a fall advance or seminar or career conference, you're like, I'm fired up. Or maybe you're at the sales meeting and they're like, all right, we're going to do a booking challenge. Or I get on your phones. And even at first you're like, I hate it when she does that. But then everybody starts doing it. Like, I'm all right, I'm going to start. And then you kind of get caught up in the moment. And then everybody's on the phone and you're getting bookings. And it's fun, right? But sometimes when you're by yourself, it's a Thursday night and you need to be doing something and you just don't do it. You don't make yourself do it when you want to, but the body is not willing. Maybe the brain's not willing. I don't know. But I'll have to tell you a couple examples on the top director trip where I did not feel like doing something, but I made myself, and I'm so glad I did. And so and then I'm going to relate it to Mary Kay, to our business. Okay, so it's not the first one, but one of the ones was the sunrise hike. So, Mary Kay, well, just like in any group, if you go on vacation with a group of people, you got your early rise people. I mean, it don't matter. They're on vacation. They're morning people. So they get up at the crack and they're out doing something like, a sunrise yoga class on the cliff. No, thank you. I'll sleep in, right? And they're like, oh, I took an early morning walk. I got up at 4. I'm like, why? I'm just not a morning person. Every day we go to breakfast and we see these people that have already been up for 2-3 hours, maybe 4. And they were telling all the stuff they've done. I'm like, for the love, am I going to have to get up and see the blessed sunrise? And I kind of wanted to. I didn't want to miss an experience, but then I kind of did not want to. So the first time that Brad and I were going to do it, he woke up at 5 o'clock or he set his, I don't know what he did, set his alarm, whatever. And he said, do you, well, no, actually one day I did. I said, hey, do you want to get up and walk on the beach? And he really didn't hardly move. And I'm like, okay, so we didn't. Okay, so then he did it. He says, hey, I want to get up. Well, actually what he did, he says, I'm going to get up and go take some pictures of the sunrise. Do you want to go? I'm like, not really, but I made myself get up, and then we got out there and it was too late. I mean, the sun was still rising, but I didn't see the sunrise. I'm like, really? I'm here this whole time. I didn't even see it. And so, I mean, it was pretty, and I was glad I was up, but whatever, So then they talked about the sunset hike. So I'm like, in Lanai, there was this beautiful cliff, and then there was a rock that is separated from it. It's called the Sweetheart Rock, and I did a video about it on Facebook. Y'all can watch it if you want to. But anyway, so everybody was meeting in the morning, and you meet up really early, and you hike up this mountain to see the sunset on the cliff. So you have to get up before the sunrise. So I said, well, what time do we have to be there? And we had to be there at 5:45 in the morning. So, okay, I'd already been there for almost 2 weeks. So I was acclimated. So 5:45 really did feel like 5:45 to me. Okay. So I set my alarm for 5:15. And because I thought I sure as heck not putting on makeup or anything else, going in a ponytail, right? So I got up. So I alarm went off, and I said, Brad, I said, do you want to go do that sunset hike? And I thought, please say no, please say no. And he goes, well, I guess you could put your hair in a ponytail. I'm like, what an answer is that? He's pretty about how I'm going to look. Anyway, so about 5:30, I'm like, it takes us 5 minutes to walk from our room down to the lobby because we were kind of a ways. And I'm like, so we got up. We got up. I put my clothes on, my tennis shoes. I did put my hair in a ponytail and my sunglasses on, and we made it. We made it to the lobby at 5:45, and we hiked until 6:25. Takes about 45 minutes, and sure enough, we were on the cliff. It's the most beautiful sunrise I've ever seen, and just the most beautiful pictures. It was really, really cool, the whole experience. But I could have missed it because I did not feel like it when the alarm went off. Okay, are y'all getting to where I'm coming? Okay, I did not feel like it, but had I not done it, I would have really been sad because it was really one of the highlights of the trip was that little hike. Okay, all right. So that's one. Here's another one, zip lining. So we went zip lining. I've zip lined before 2 or 3 times. Always had a blast. Well, we go to this zip line thing, and instead of just zip lining is fun if you've never done it. They hook you up, and you're off this line like you're going over this mountain, and really, it's fun. It's not hard or anything. But this one was like they wanted. Well, let me give you the first thing we had to do. We get up this thing. They're like, oh, you're going to have to jump off this side of this thing, and you're going to rappel down to this other thing. I'm like, I'm just going to, I had a little hook on me, but still. Just jumping down. I wasn't here to rappel. I want to be hooked up on a line, sit down, and swing. But you had to do it. Like the only way to move to the next zip line is to jump off this ledge. I didn't sign up to rappel that day. I signed up to zip line. But anyway, so I've got a picture of me, and I'm actually standing on the ledge, and I'm like, it's like you don't want to be called chicken, right? You're there with other couples. You have to do it. So I had to do it. And then there was it was fine. I lived through it, right? Then there was another one. They go, oh, on this one, you've got to climb up this rock with this rope, and you got to get way up there. And I'm like, I just wasn't all about all this exercise. So they said, you had to take it, and you would pull yourself, and then you would move. And when you do it, I'd move about 1 inch. And then this lady that's older than me in our group, she was beside me. And all of a sudden, I had already been started. So she's beside me. She goes, whoop, whoop, whoop. And she's like almost at the top. And I'm like, how is this like 60-something-year-old woman beating me? I just could not even believe it. And later I found out that the guy on top pulled her the entire way. So that made me feel better. But at first I'm like, she didn't have bulging muscles. But anyway, so there were some things like that I really did not want to do when they told me to do it, that I had to do it. But I wouldn't have got to the next level to see the beauty of that mountain and those cliffs and those volcanoes, everything you could see in the ocean from that zip lining. But I had to make myself do it, and I had to like feel the fear and do it anyway, right? And one of the ones they wanted to do, one of the last ones, is go down backwards, zip line backwards. So you take a step backwards off this box, which is up on this big high thing, and you're going backwards. And that was a little bit scary, but I did it. Okay. The very last one, they wanted you to hang upside down like a monkey. No, thank you. I did not do that one, and I don't regret it. I do have my limits, but anyway. And then the last one I want to tell you about, or one of the other ones, is snorkeling. Snorkeling, if you've never been, it's a lot of fun. But you put a mask on, and then it has a thing so you can breathe when you're looking down in the water. And even if you go under it, the water don't come in the hole, and you can come back up and breathe. Well, where we were, it was very, very, the water was very choppy. And I don't mean like a little choppy. I mean like waves. These are people, this is where people go to surf. Okay. These huge waves. So these are like, the boat is like going, wah, wah, crazy. And so the first time we went out, on the way back, I told Brad, and I hated it. I hated to even voice it, but I was starting to feel nauseated. It's the worst. If you've ever been seasick, it's the absolute worst. And so I'm like, oh, just suck it up, And so everybody's having a good time looking out and everything. And I'm thinking, I'm going to puke over the side of the boat. It's day 2, right? And so I said, Brad, I am not feeling well. I said, I'm feeling nauseated. He goes, and I was so thankful. He goes, me too. I'm like, good. Not good, but good. So he and I go to the back of the boat, and we sit there, and we have to like focus on the horizon. And then the little girl comes and brings me a bucket that I could puke in. Thank you very much. I did not puke, but I'm sitting there with a bucket. That's bad enough. Okay. So the next week I had signed up for snorkeling because in my mind, I love snorkeling. And then I'm like, snorkeling again, boat, waves, seasick. But we went, and it was a little more choppy than normal, and they told us that. And so Brad went on first, and I got all my gear on. I was trying to get my mask on good. And if I don't jump in there, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but my mask filled up to my eyes with salt water. I'm choking, like my eyes are burning. It got all in my mouth. I started heaving, and so I'm like flailing like a fish out there, and I'm thinking, I got to get back to the boat. So I'm trying to swim back to the boat. I thought, I'm going to drown. I mean, like, for a second, I thought, I'm going to drown. I'm going to drown in the ocean. So I got back up there. I climbed my tail. We're all the way back up on the boat, and they're like trying to tend to me. I'm like, I'm good. I said, I don't know what happened. I said, but I'm coughing, snotting, sneezing. It's like my eyes are burning. I did put a little bit of waterproof mascara on because I thought I need a little bit of makeup, but they were burning. It was awful. So then I'm up there, Laura Beitler's up there, the vice president. And I'm like, okay. I said, I can do this. I can do this. And so I put the mask back on my face. I had the girl come check it, make sure it was tight enough. And I got first, in fact, matter of fact, when I got all the way to get down the first time, my fins were too big. They were coming off. So I had to go back up and get new fins. This was like a big ordeal, and everybody else is out there. Granny on the boat. I mean, I'm like, no. So I put it back on there, and I could have not done it. I mean, Sean Key, Laura Butler, they're all up there. They're not even getting in. They're up there looking cute, whatever. And I'm like, nope, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. So I got it all back up, and I said, you can do this. Are you going to do 1,000,000? Yes, you are. Jump back in the water. So I jumped back in the water, and then I got out there, and then this girl goes, here's a board, like a boogie board. I'm like, I'm fine. I don't need it. And they're like, act like I'm an invalid out there. But anyway, I made it. It was fun. Got back to the boat. So glad I did it. Okay. It's just, I'm telling you these things because there's going to be times in your Mary Kay business that the water is up to your eyes, and you're choking, and you're snotting, and you're sneezing, and your eyes are burning, and you want to quit and go, I don't even like Mary Kay. And that's about how I was. I'm like, snorkeling is overrated. You know, I don't even like to snorkel, which I really do, but it caused me not to want to do it. You know what I mean? But I got out there anyway, and then I was able to see the most beautiful fish, and it was so worth it. Okay. And then the last one is golf. I used to play golf all the time. Like, I started in 2001, and I just was one of these people. I got out there first time, I hit it, and I'm like, I am a golfer. And so then I had to buy all the gear, you know, new clubs, new golf thing, 400 golf outfits, and I'm like, I should be in the LPGA. Not really, but, you know, like in my mind. And I would play all the time. But I kind of laid it down, and I haven't played in 4 years. I mean, I've not swung a club in 4 years. Brad wanted to play golf in Ladnahi, so I thought, okay, I'll do it. But I had this anxiety because I haven't played in so long that I would really stink. And we were playing with 3 other couples, and I thought, ugh, you know, and so I just really had it in my mind, like, do I even remember? Okay, have you ever taken so long and you haven't had a party on your own and went to somebody's house, not at a meeting, but packed your stuff up and went to somebody's house to do a party, that in your mind you think, I'm not sure I even know how to do this anymore. Like, I don't know if I can do it. And you get that fear inside because it's been so long that you have done it. So I get up to the golf shop, and, you know, we rented the clubs, and I'm like, Brad, I forgot. I said, I got to have a glove. And it had been so long I couldn't remember what hand you're supposed to have the glove on. Well, it's your opposite hand. It's like your left hand, not your right hand. And you only wear one glove. And I'm telling you, you think it's only been 4 years, but I felt like I forgot everything I knew about golf. So we got out there, and I thought, please, Lord Jesus, just let me hit the ball. Let me not make a fool of myself. Do y'all ever feel that way at a party? Like, you're like, please, Lord, just help me not to make a fool of myself. Just help me be able to say what I need to say, and these girls will have fun. So I went to the driving range, and the first hit was terrible. It went straight on the ground. It's like it wasn't even airborne. Second one, flub. Third one, I nailed it. I mean, it flew. It was beautiful. And I thought, I'm not practicing anymore because I don't want to use all my good hits at the driving range. I said, I'm ready. They said, you're ready? I go, yes, I'm ready. So we ended up playing. I had a great time. I hit the ball great. And even the ones I didn't hit weren't terrible. And now I'm like, why did I stop doing this? I love it. It's so much fun. And I want to go back and start playing golf again. I had a time in my Mary Kay career, same thing. It had been about 6 months, not 4 years, but about 6, 7 months. And I had not held a Mary Kay skincare party at someone's house other than like show up at the meeting and do it in like 6 or 8 months. And I just remember thinking, I've lost my touch. I don't even know if I could do a good close. I haven't. That's when I was a new director, as a matter of fact. And I just had built up this thing in my mind that can I even do a good party? You know, I don't know why. It's so stupid, right? But if you're ever that way, I thought, okay, I've just got to make myself do it. And then once you start doing it, it all comes back. It all comes back. Just like golf. And then I remembered, I love to do parties. Parties are where the money's at. That's where I'm going to find my recruits. Why do I build up in my mind that I don't want to do parties when it's really one of the most fun things about Mary Kay is meeting other women, making them feel special, doing your clothes, collecting the money at the end, booking other parties, getting your leads, and getting recruits. Why wouldn't you want to do a party? But do y'all feel like that sometimes that's the one thing we don't do and it's the one thing we need to do? Like, if you really look at your success of the month, you could say, how many parties did I do? 0. Well, your success is probably not real high unless you got a great reorder business, right? And so, I don't know. A lot of these things just reminded me of Mary Kay and how we do sometimes and how we're afraid to try stuff. We're afraid to try stuff we've never tried, like maybe have a Mary Kay open house, like maybe try to make some holiday gifts up, maybe go in and talk to a business about buying gifts for their employees. You know, maybe you've never, you've never went to a school and set up a display. You know, maybe you've never done a booth by yourself. There's a lot of things that you could do in Mary Kay, and you see other people do it, but you've never done it, and you're just afraid because you've never done it. You know, Mary Kay used to say, fear is false evidence appearing real. It's evidence, it's false evidence, something that is not true that appears to be true. That's fear. And she said the only way to face your fears and do it anyway. She says the only way to kill the fear is to do it. And then you'll never be afraid again. And that is so true, unless it's been years and years since you've done it, and then you get that fear back. So you got to keep, remember Albert Einstein, you got to keep pedaling and not quit, right? So I just made a list here of what some activity might look like to get you back on the roll. If you're not, now if you're on a roll, you use this class tonight to motivate your team, okay? Because you're on a roll. You're on a roll, and I want you to stay there. So, but I just thought, I wrote down some things right here, and I'm going to just read them to you. Some things that you could do to get back into activity. And as I read them, if there's something that you're like, I could do that, that's something I could do, okay? So, get on the phone, all right? So what would you do when you get on the phone? Because sometimes you're like, I don't even know who I'd call or what I need to do right now. What do I need to do? You just feel like you're frozen. Okay, so you could, all right, call your recruits if you have any and encourage them. How are you doing? What have you got on your books? How can I help you? You want to go out together? You know, you could call your personal team. All right. You could call your future hostess. If you have anything on your books, you could call them, coach them, make sure they're getting outside orders, make sure they are doing some of the things that you've asked them to do to assure that you're having a good party, like get the names, the phone numbers, so that you can text or call the guests. Explain to her how she can get free product and, you know, partner up with this gal. All right. You can make booking calls. You know, you could call some of these names that you've gotten on the back of your profile cards or when you've been out and about. It's really, I mean, leads are great, but they're nothing unless you call them. You might as well just throw them in the trash can, every single one of them, if you're not going to contact them, right? So you've got to contact your leads. You could call if you're thinking, Cleta, I don't have any recruits. I don't have any bookings. I don't have any leads. Now what do I do? Well, why don't you just call a sister consultant to encourage her? You know, why don't you call someone else, not to whine, but to encourage her. Say, you know what, I just want to call and encourage you today. I just look up to you. I think you're such a great consultant. And, you know, the way you do it at the meetings, and just call someone a call of encouragement to someone. That would be a start, okay? You could, this is a light bulb moment, call your sales director. What? Yes, you could call your director and share with her your plan of action instead of sharing with her that you have no plan. Because, you know, sometimes you might call and go, I don't know what to do. I need a plan. Instead, take a few minutes and come up with a plan, and then call your sales director and say, all right, this is what I've come up with. What do you think? And then she could tweak it for you. Because there's no plan that's going to be as good as the plan you make for yourself. Because we, as directors, don't know your schedule. So I could come up with a perfect plan, but you're like, well, that doesn't account for Johnny has soccer and Mary has ballerina and my husband, you know, works during the night. So I have to, you know, you can figure out your plan way better than I can. But it's something that you could go over with your sales director, okay? You could call the customers that you already have to check on them and see if they're running low on anything, or if they've purchased something new, to check and see how they like it. You know, a lot of times we don't do that follow-up call where you know, maybe you sold a charcoal mask to someone a couple weeks ago, and you just call and say, hey, this is Cleta. I'm just calling, you know, you bought that charcoal mask a couple weeks ago. Have you had a chance to try it? I'm just dying to hear how you like it. And just have a conversation with a customer. Is there anything else you're low on? You know, and then you can go through that to possibly book a party with her, or, you know, whatever. It can just be a service call where you're just calling to check on her. All right. Another thing you could do after hours, like I would say, you know, Mary Kay Ash used to say 9 to 9 is people time. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is people time. She said, so all the office work, you know, you want to do that after people time. So what you could do after people time, or before people time, is if you have an office, or if you have a place where you do your Mary Kay at your house and everything is piled to the sky, and if you're like me, it makes you not want to go in that room because it's so cluttered and awful. My desk getting terrible, but even what it is right now, I don't love it. I need to shuffle some papers. You could clean your desk off. You know, get every single thing off your desk, put it in a box, and then, you know, even take it outside of the office. You know, we used to have this girl named Marva Ruwat, I think's her name, and she said, how you clean your office is you get boxes and you take every single thing out of your room, and as if you're moving. And then you go through them outside the office and decide what you really want to bring back in there. And but clear off your desk, and, you know, make it where in the morning you're excited to go in there because you have a clean desk, your notebook is open to an empty page, or maybe your 6 most important things list that you're going to do, and then you're ready for the day. So that's something that you could do. You could get an order form and go through your inventory and see what you're actually low on. And look at the lip glosses and the mascaras and the eyeshadows too. Because a lot of times for me, at the end of the month, I'm like, I got to get my order in. And then I look over there and I'm like, I don't have time to look at the lip glosses. And if it doesn't happen every month, somebody will order that one color that you don't have. I'm like, seriously, I got like $20,000 worth of inventory and I don't have a berry dazzle. It's just so irritating. So, you could go do your little inventory list, go ahead and get on the computer and put down what you want, and maybe I like to say an ideal order. And maybe you can't get all of it, but, you can, at least have it started. And so when you're ready to do your order, you're like, this is what I'd like to get if I have enough money to do it. And if not, you could cut down some of the quantities. But that always helps you so that you're not ordering things you don't need and you are ordering things that you do need. You could look at your, you could also see if you might want to invest in your business. I posted something on the Boss Babe Boxer group today, a lot of different ways that you can get money to invest in your business. And so, it could be a loan, it could be a low interest credit card, it could be that you ask someone that like, a family member to invest in your business. But, maybe you are enabling yourself because you don't have enough inventory on your shelf and you feel like you don't want to do a party because you don't have the products and you don't want to tell them that you don't have the products. So if that's holding you back, you got to take care of that. Okay. So you may think about investing in your business. I know several times when I started Mary Kay, I would embezzle. This was earlier in my life, Mary Kay life. And I would buy a product and then I would sell product. And then I would take all of the money, not like some of the money, all of the money, and I'd pay my bills. And then what happened is I was out of product and I was out of money. And I'm like, how did this happen? I'm not making money in Mary Kay. Well, no, you just don't know how to run a business. And so I know of two different times I went to the credit union because at one time I was working for the college and I could have a credit union account. And another time, I don't know how I got that one, but anyway, I think I just went and joined the credit union for $25. I don't know. It seemed like the credit union was an easy way to get money. And I got a loan to get my business started as if I was brand new. I'm like, I'm just going to go. I'm tired of it. I'm going to go get a loan. And I just went and got it. And like, I don't know, I think it was $3,000 or something. And I just placed me an order and, I knew what my payments were going to be. And I got myself out of that funk because it was holding me back, not having what I needed. So you may want to think about that. Okay. Another thing you could do is you could go look at your preferred customer program. That is October the 17th, where you're going to send in for the one for the winter, and go ahead and send it in. And then you can add the new customers on the 17th or the 16th. Why wait to the last second to do stuff like that? You could, let's see. Oh, you could get your date book out and plan your next 4 months. Or 3 months, October, November, December. It's going to be the busiest month. So you could go ahead and plan, look and see when are you having people over for Thanksgiving or are you going somewhere? What's your holidays looking like for your family? What kind of events do you know you have? What kind of events do your kids have? Put them all in your books. Decide when you're going to do an open house. If you're going to do a bunch of little ones, maybe 30-minute open houses, or if you're going to do like a whole weekend and have an open house. And how are you going to invite your people? How are you going to get the word out for that? Are you going to sister up with another consultant? And then that way y'all can do it together. Maybe do one at her place, one at your place. I mean, how are you going to do it? You can't wait because you're going to blink and it's going to be December the 1st. And you're going to go, that would have been so good if I'd have promoted some holiday this year. And so you got to plan that now. Now is the time to plan your holiday strategy of how you're going to sell for holidays. Are you going to do a Black Friday sale? And the thing about it is because you want to have all your products ready to go like that. How are you going to have a theme for your decorating as far as for your holiday products for wrapping? It's so much nicer. We always used to say, like, if you want to buy from Kmart or Walmart, you're going to have a basket with 700 different colors. It's going to look like Candyland or a daycare center. If you want it to look like Macy's, or you want it to look like Neiman Marcus, you're going to have a theme. And all of your gifts are going to be the same wrapping. And what I mean by that is a theme like, are you going to do like maybe all gold glitter on all your bows, your gold and white on everything? Are you going to do like what's really popular is the black and white checkered, it's not houndstooth, what do they call it? You know what I'm talking about. The black and red checkered type stuff. I can't remember the name of that thing. Anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, are you going to do that? Are you going to do maybe silver and blue? What do you like and what are you going to do? And then what I would do is all your decorations for your holiday open house and all of your packaging all need to be the same. Don't have like, you know, Christmas tree with Christmas bells over here, then you got houndstooth over here, then you got silver and blue over here, and then you got green and white over here. You're going to look like Kmart. I'm serious. It makes a difference. Pick a theme, whatever you like, whatever moves you, and go with it, you know. And I decided to go to Sam's yesterday, and I bought, they have a bunch of beautiful ribbon, and it's a good price at Sam's. It's $6.99 for wired ribbon for 50 yards, which I think is pretty good. And so I decided to go with this. It was like a gold and silver wired ribbon, and it's like glittery. It's really pretty, and I'm going to use that and white boxes, and then the craft boxes that are, you know what I mean, that look like craft paper, that are like brown, whatever, and that's going to be my thing. And so I've decided to go with gold and white or gold and craft, and everything I wrap is going to be in those colors, you know, for Christmas for my family, but also for my Mary Kay business when I start showing things. So you kind of think about stuff like that. Then just a couple more. You know, you could make a list of men right now who you can go ahead and start talking to. Hey, you know, I know your wife, your mom, your daughter. I can help you with your Christmas shopping by getting you some beautiful gifts for that. And if you just, you know, I know it's not time maybe to do that, but I'd like to kind of show you what I have to offer. And you can do the 12 days of Christmas. You can just do a big basket, whatever you want to do, according to how much you want to spend. There's lots of ideas out there about that too. You can also start now bringing colognes to everything you do. I'm not a big cologne seller because I have this allergy thing and I can't wear any of them. However, if you want to sell colognes, you know, colognes are a big purchase at holiday time. So you could get all the men's colognes, all the women's colognes, and even the little ones that they have for the holidays, you could use as a samplers, and the other ones you could spray on cotton balls. But start bringing the colognes to every appointment that you do and say, hey, you know, holidays are coming up. Have you ever smelled any of our men's colognes or our women's colognes? And see what they like. And if they like it, it could be on the wish list for their husband to get them for Christmas, right? Or the women can buy the cologne for the men. So that's something to think about. But sometimes when we're frozen in our Mary Kay business, you just need something to do, one something or two somethings to do to get yourself out of the funk. So I know that was probably like too many, but just something to get you back going, to get you back started, okay? One thing you want to know is that if you've ever done it before, you can do it again. And if anybody else has ever done it, you can do it. And if no one's done it, it could be that you're the one that needs to do it to show everybody else they can do it. Y'all got it? So it don't matter. There's always going to be a record breaker. There's someone than Mary Kay that says, you're not going to believe it, but this girl did this and no one's ever done it like that before. Why couldn't that be you? Why couldn't that story be you? Where Mary Kay's calling you and say, hey, I need to fly you to Dallas because we want to interview you. Why not? Right? Why not? What I do know is that if you're a leader, you're not going to be happy with your Mary Kay until you're leading somebody. If you are a leader, and you know how you know if you're a leader? Have you ever sat in church and thought, if I was speaking, I would probably say this, or imagine yourself up there speaking, or at any event where there's a speaker and you're sitting in the audience going, that's pretty good, but if that was me up there and you picture yourself going, ladies and gentlemen, now maybe not. Some of you go, no, I would never want to do that. But have you ever thought of yourself as the teacher, like maybe a small group, and you're the one leading it? You know, you're always thinking about what you would do if you were in charge. Girl, you are a natural leader. Like, it's in your DNA and you can't help yourself. You've got to build you a team or you're never going to be satisfied in Mary Kay because you were born to lead. Leaders lead. Some of you are developing into leaders. You never knew that was in you. It was suppressed for some reason, but it's in there. And, you know, you might need to lead a small team, you know, maybe at least your red jacket or a team leader, you know? And so, but those of you that got that big urge, you've got to build a team. You have to build a team, and really you need to go DIQ because you're not going to be satisfied until you are leading some people, right? Okay, so to wrap it up, everybody starts small. I started small as a unit, you know, in my 20s, 30 people. everybody just started with a kit. And, small beginnings is where everybody starts. And so the only way to get big is to not quit and keep going. And when you don't feel like it, you have to do it anyway. And you'll be thanking yourself. Just remember me stepping off the ledge with somebody with this little hook on. I'm like, right, okay. Like that's going to hold me. Okay. And so I want you to think about what you can do today after we get off the call and tomorrow to make it a September to remember, because it's not over. There are things you can do. Jana Strunk in her unit are pushing to win a pink Cadillac by tomorrow, and it's not in the back. It's not in yet. She has got this day, and she's so thankful to have another day to do it, right? And so what could you do tomorrow to end this month on a win instead of on a regret of what you didn't do? Because I know all you made huge goals at the beginning of the month. Even I did. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's so easy to say it on the first, right? And we even talked about finishing, right? But some of you are way so far from your finish goal. But what could you do to end the month and have a win? Monday could be a Wednesday for you, right? A Wednesday. And so could you get in your red jacket? On June 30th, 3 people in my unit, my personal team, became red jackets after church. So, you could get in your red jacket tomorrow. Could you get 5 to 10 bookings for October, right? Could you, if you're going to a meeting tomorrow night, get you some guests in the morning? Call and get you some guests to come to the meeting tomorrow night, right? What could you do? Could you get your $600 order in to win your bracelet? Or at least a $300 if you're doing, one of your, for some of the units are doing a little gift for a $300. Could you get that in? So what could you do to end and feel good about yourself and about your month? I want you to think about that. And I want you to come up with something, and I want you to text your director and say, this is what I'm going to do to end this month on a win. That's what I'm going to do. And it can't be something you've already done. It's got to be something you're going to make happen tomorrow. Okay? I believe in you guys. I know your director believes in you. And I know I've talked for 48 minutes straight without stopping. I've had a lot to say. I've missed y'all. So I am going to stop, and I want to hear from these beautiful directors. I want to thank Jana and Laree for and all the girls that spoke last week, motivating them to win the cruise. What motivated them to win the cruise and how it changed their business. And, I thank them for just really just picking up the baton. Sayla for doing my meetings, and Nina for, doing the meetings every week while I was gone. It was so nice to know that I have great leaders in my organization and great friends that are leaders that just step right up and help me. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, just, pouring into the Boss Babes and to the Cheetahs. So, Jana, you're right up here first. I'm going to unmute you first if you'd like to add anything.
All right. So I loved everything that you shared. And as you're going through there, and I think that sometimes what I see is when people get frozen up, they instead of jumping in the water, because they're scared their mask is going to fill up, instead of jumping in, they want to like stick their finger in and swirl around, and they want to stick their toe in and swirl it around. And what I mean by that is they get on social media and they're like, hey, does anybody want to have a party? You guys, that doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. I tell you that Cleta is super successful. I think I've been pretty successful. And I don't know that I've ever booked a party or gotten a sale off of posting anything on Facebook. I'm serious. So if your expectations are that, just be careful. Be careful to, like Cleta says, you can be somebody that goes out and is the first to make something successful. But if you keep it knocking your head against the wall and you're not successful in booking in that avenue, you've got to pivot, or you're going to get a lump on your head, and that's all you're going to have is a lump on your head and not success. And so, choose a different direction. Talk to your independent sales director and say, this is what I'm doing, or this is my challenge. And so, Cleta, I can't handle it anymore. Your hair's amazing. I love your hair. I love the color. I love the style. Everything. It's so good.
Oh, I actually took time to use the straightener on it today. And probably you've seen all my pictures of me in a ball cap and no makeup for 2 weeks. So I was happy to get held up again. I'm like, I can look better than this. I know I can. So thank you.
I love that darkness, that contrast. That's so good. So
thank you.
But anyway, thank you so much for the call. And yes, you guys, so many of other people's dreams are tied to your work ethic and to your efforts. And so I giggled when you said, when you're a leader, you're thinking of another way that person could do that, or how they could improve upon being a leader. And so that's funny, because when I used to go to my Mary Kay meetings, I'd say, I would start on time. Or, or like, when I become a sales director, this is how I'm going to do this. And so you guys, if you do have that urge and you have that feeling, you just have to do it. And like right now, okay, so there's something about being in that last minute, oh my gosh, we've got to win. I have this, when you have that champion mentality and you start going into hyper think mode and you're like strategic, and that means you're a leader and you need to follow through and you need to do something amazing before the end of the month so you can celebrate on October 1.
Yes. Yes. I love it. And if you don't, you're going to have a nose full of salt water and you're not going to be able to breathe.
You're going to be crying. You're going to be crying and
You're going to be crying like a little baby hyena. Oh, thank you, Jana. Thank you. And we are praying for you to get that Cadillac girl by tomorrow. I'm so excited for you. It gets me excited watching you work. So thank you for leading the way.
Yep, we're doing it.
Okay, Sayla.
Oh, hey, everybody. It was a great call, Cleta. And I just think that all of us at some point in our business do get stuck, and whether it's at the end of the month or in the middle of the month or the first of the month, and we don't know which way to go. This is a great list of things that we can do that will get us unstuck. And I know that with it being the last 24 hours of the month, that big things, I finished my directorship in the last 24 hours, and we're working on a big goal, and we are pushing hard for that goal. And, you never know what is going to happen. Certainly if we don't push for the goal, we're not going to make it. And so I just encourage everybody to don't give up, to move forward. And sometimes what I've seen happen in my business is I'll have a list of things to do, and I'll be working hard on that list, and then the Lord blesses another area and something I did not think was going to happen. So I am believing, and I know that big things will happen between now and tomorrow night at 1 a.m.
Yes, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes, Lord, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Sayla. Thank you so much. Okay, Lori.
Hey, everybody. Like they said, thank you for all the tips. They were great. And Jana, I love what you said about, I've never booked a party for somebody else, any of my friends selling anything else. I've never called them up and said, hey, can I hold one of your parties for whatever brand or, whatever product, kitchen products or jewelry or whatever it is that they're doing, because I'm, busy working my own business. And so that's such a good point that, we want to promote things on social media. We want to let people know we're doing Mary Kay, but that should not be your primary booking tool because like you said, you will be hitting your head against the computer screen over and over again. So, and kind of like what Cleta said, when you get to a point that you kind of feel stuck, I was reading this morning, scrolling Facebook before I got out of bed, and there was a story about a young man that went to, it was a see you at the pole day at the schools, and he was the only one standing out by the pole. And the mom wound up, somebody posted on Facebook, and then somebody, anyway. But the thing that the young man did is, first he was standing out there alone, and at first he was praying, God, please help somebody else come so that I'm not standing here alone. And then as he started to realize nobody else was coming, his prayer changed to, God, do something while I'm standing here alone. Let this be used for your glory. And so I just screenshotted just a little blurb of that. So I know that there are times in our business, even though if you get plugged into these calls and if you get plugged into the meeting, you are not alone, and you know that you're not alone. But there are times that for the people that may not do that, or you may have team members, so it's so important, like she said, to reach out to your team members that may not be plugged in because they may be feeling alone. And so what it said on this article was that says, so to you, wherever it is in your life that you stand alone, be it at a flagpole or a marriage, a place of work, or seemingly impossible situation, I believe my son would like to remind you that God can do big things when you're standing alone. Perhaps for now you're praying until someone else shows up or takes notice. God sees, He knows, and He can do big things. And so I just want to remind you or someone that you may know that God can do big things for you, even when you feel like you're standing alone, or maybe in your business you feel like it's standing still. Just go ahead and put that effort forth and know that He will bless you, because you never know who may be watching you to see how you respond at this point in your business, so that then they can be encouraged by it.
So true. Thank you. I love that. I love that. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for Rosie. All right, Miss Rosie.
Hi, Cleta. Hey, great call tonight. I really enjoyed your description, because like you described this thing so well. I mean, I could picture in my mind. I had visions of you with your bucket, and I loved it. And you know what? It's really reassuring to me. And so I know it's reassuring to other people that top directors have fears, and top directors have doubts, and top directors sometimes feel paralyzed by fear or whatever. It just makes you more human, and it makes us feel kind of like we can breathe a sigh of relief that we're not like totally weird, that we're okay, and we can rise above that. So I loved that. I loved hearing about your adventures. The list that you gave was awesome. There were things on there that I probably have done before and I haven't done for a while. And I'm like, oh, I need to do that. So I took a lot of notes. And the one thing that you said at the very end, and I'm gonna have this, I think I'm just gonna put it on my screensaver or whatever you call it, just somewhere. I'm gonna put it, the end on a win, not a regret. And I really liked that, end on a win, not a regret. Because I think sometimes when we start the month, we're really gung-ho and everything. And then there's those peaks and valleys, and then all of a sudden it's the 30th or the 31st, and you don't want to regret. You want to have a win. So anyway, thank you, and thank you other directors for all your ideas and your advice. So
all right, thank you, Rosie. Thank you so much. So you guys, we are going to end this call right on time. Look at that. And I got something to tell y'all as soon as I start the recording. So hang on. So bye, everybody. Thank y'all for calling in.